When a politician tells you that people with Down syndrome are being targeted, they're absolutely right. 60 years ago, people with Down syndrome had no place in school classrooms, being forced into institutions and separated from society. Thanks to parents and advocates fighting for inclusion, people with Down syndrome are now given a chance at an education just like everyone else. However, people with Down syndrome are now faced with possible extinction because of new prenatal testing. Countries like Iceland are bragging about eradicating Down syndrome because nearly every child is aborted upon a prenatal diagnosis. The market for these new prenatal tests is growing here in the United States. So, what will be our response? Karen Gaffney has traveled the world with one message: Down syndrome is a life worth saving. As a person with Down syndrome herself, who holds an honorary doctorate, it would be wise for all of us to hear her message and support efforts like Pennsylvania's Down Syndrome Protection Act.
Those of us with Down syndrome and our families face a very difficult future. We face the possibility of wiping out all that tremendous progress we have made in the last 60 years. Just as we are making so much progress, a whole industry has grown up, focused on prenatal screening. Screening that would end our lives before we take our first breath. Now that you can test for Down syndrome before birth, there are many experts in the medical community who will say this extra chromosome we carry around is not compatible with life. Not compatible with life? If you put your head up and look around, you will see and hear and read about phenomenal accomplishments of those of us living with Down syndrome all around the world. You will learn about people who are graduating from their high schools, some going on to colleges, knocking on the doors of the companies in their communities, or starting their own businesses. Stories are pouring into websites and Facebook pages all around the world, celebrating people with Down syndrome. Every day, not just on World Down Syndrome Day. People who have fought all the odds and are living and growing and contributing in the communities where they live. Not compatible with life? Am I not compatible with life? Well, after everything we have done, I would say we are more than compatible. It was the wave of humanity that lifted us out of institutions, brought us home, got us into schools, included us in the community of life, ladies and gentlemen. And it will require another wave of humanity to stop the targeting of Down syndrome around the world. It will require people like you to stand up for us and with us to help us show the world that Down syndrome is a life worth living. Down syndrome is a life worth choosing. And Down syndrome is a life worth saving.